Now, site flipping is a good additional stream of income for you. It's a very good thing for you to do simply because it's a great way of earning some extra money. Now, flipping sites, you could create a full-time income, or you could just create a little bit of extra cash. Which you do, it's entirely up to you. It depends upon how much time you want to put into it and what you want to do. But it's a great way of earning some money. It's a good way of starting out online because you can get quite a quick return on investment, and you can use that money to invest in things like hosting, autoresponders and other bits of software and tools. Now, you are going to need to make a few investments in order to start site flipping, but they're not that expensive. To start with, you can buy domain names. If you get a .info domain name, Namecheap will do them for a couple of dollars. .coms, go and search for Namecheap coupon online, and you can find them for about $9, $8 or $9 I think it is. So that's not expensive. You're also going to need what we call a reseller's hosting account. The reason you need this is it's so much easier for you to allow people to access the sites that you sell. What you do is you create an account for that person, for that domain, and then you give them the user ID and password for it, and it's theirs. They can do what they like with it. Now, the real neat thing you do that's another stream of income is you say, right, you can get 3-6 months worth of free hosting. After that, I'm charging you X amount. And you charge them $20 a year, $5 a month, whatever it might be. But you do that, and that's a very, very good additional stream of income. Now, if you're really smart, what you do is you go and have a look at HostGator, because I believe you can quite often get your first month for absolute pittance if you find some good coupons. Now, with a web host, make sure you find us a web host that has cPanel and Fantastico. You want these two pieces of software. It's going to save you an awful lot of time and effort. Now, the basic premise of site flipping, oddly enough, is you create a site and sell it. Simple, eh? It's just like flipping a house offline, you know, it's real estate flipping. You buy a house, you paint it magnolia, you put some hanging baskets up, bake some bread, get people in, and they buy it from you. Pretty much the same with a website. You either create a site or buy one that's in a distressed condition, do it up and sell it on. Someone will buy it, they operate the site, and they earn from it. That's how they make their money. You earn from the sale, and how much you earn will depend upon the site. Now, this can be a relatively quick way to make money with no marketing skills. It's great if you're not confident in writing sales letters or promoting sites or getting to the top of the search engines or performing joint ventures. Then site flipping is a great way to start making a bit of money and potentially build a business without having to be a marketer. Then when you've got some money coming in, then you can branch into the marketing and sell through that. How much you will earn will depend upon the site, the quality, the traffic, and the earnings. Potential is there. I mean, I've seen sites that are 9 months old sell for $250,000, and that was a quick sell. So, yeah, there's a lot of potential out there. But yeah, for what we're looking at, it could be anything from $100 upwards. I mean, the techniques I'm going to show you in this course are going to teach you to make a site that will sell for pretty much a minimum of $100. Hopefully an awful lot more. Now, site flipping, the process. Well, first you've got to pick a subject. We're going to talk about this later on. But you've got to pick a hot subject, a subject people are going to want to buy something on. You know, if tortoise taming is your thing, you know, create a website on it. Maybe there's not a big market for it, but there's possibly a big market for teen weight loss, or pregnancy weight loss, or cat care, or how to feed your hamster, or how to grow great rose bushes. So you got to pick a good subject. Then you have to register a domain name. Now, your domain name has to have your keyword in it. A, because it's easier to rank, and B, because it looks better. Don't go registering 734xyzb72.com, because no one's going to know what it means. The domain is a selling point, and if you get a valuable domain name, throw some content on it, you can make a lot of money just because someone wants a domain. You want to create unique content. Remember we talked about the duplicate content penalty? People are terrified of that. So you have to create unique content. You then have to drive traffic to it. I mean, you don't have to drive traffic. That's an optional extra. But I'm the techniques I want to teach you are including driving traffic, because it maximizes your revenue, and that's what I want. Yeah, you can turn the site around in the morning and 3 days later have earned from it, but what I want to do is teach you to make a lot of money. You may not see much earnings for the first sort of 6 to 8 weeks, but after that you're going to have an awful lot of potential, and that's a technique that one of the techniques I'm teaching you. We're going to talk about the quick flip, but we're going to talk about the sort of mid-term flip as well, and the long-term flip, both of which potentially increase your income. Now you can add value to the site. We'll talk about that in a bit, but the process is you add value to the site, you then list it for sale on one of the many sites that we'll talk about in a little while, and then you enjoy your profits. Now, one thing I'm not going to tell you in this course is how to enjoy your profits. That bit I thought I'd leave up to you, but everything else on this list, I'm going to show you how to do all of that. So what's in the course? Well, obviously we're going to teach you what makes a good site to sell. That's the key, isn't it, to succeeding as a site flipper, is knowing what's going to sell. We're going to talk about whether you should keep a site or sell it. I mean, there's a debate. Should you keep it? Should you sell it? If it's earning, why sell it? Well, we're going to talk about that, and we're going to weigh up the pros and cons. I'm going to show you how to find some hot topics to create sites on. I'm going to introduce you to a few sites, show you some ideas where you can find popular topics, and take it from there. I'm going to show you how to get traffic as well quick. These are techniques that potentially could get you hundreds of visitors, maybe even thousands in a day, but whatever, they will get you some visitors and start getting traffic to the site. I'm going to show you a few of the best places to sell your sites. I'm going to show you the pros and cons of them. I'm going to tell you which sites you're going to get the most money from. Some of the sites I'm going to show you, you're not going to earn a lot of money from, but could be a potential place to start. But what I do want to show you is some sites where you can make top dollar for your website. I'm going to teach you how to increase the value of your website so that when you flip it, you get more money for it. It's like putting in a second bathroom in a house, or an extension, or a sunroom, or an extra bedroom. How do you increase the value? That's one of the things I want to teach you. I'm going to give you some tips as well to ensure that you earn the maximum possible amount from every single sale. That's part of the content of the course. And the course is going to add an additional stream of income to your business. An income that, if you want it to be, could potentially be a full-time income every month, make you a good sum of money. So that's the content of the course. As always, you're going to need to get yourself a pen and paper. We're going to cover a lot of information, so you may want to write things down. You may want to watch some of the videos again. You may want to open up a browser window when we're doing the demonstrations and going through them yourself. The accompanying book will have this all written down. You may want to print it out so you can read it. Depending upon your level of skill and how you want to approach this, you can either work through the course step by step, or you can just jump in and watch the bits you want. I'd recommend watching it step by step. You'll get more from it. So, let's not hang on any longer. Let's get on to the next video and start teaching you how you can start earning some money as a website flipper. I'd like to talk now about some of the things that makes a site good to flip. What makes a good site that someone wants to buy? Well, firstly, unique content. One of the things you'll hear again and again online is content is king. And it is. People want content. Search engines want content. Your potential buyers and visitors are looking for unique content. And this is content they can't get anywhere else. Now, before you think, oh, I'll go and steal a few articles from somewhere no one will ever notice. They will notice. The good buyer will do some due diligence, and they will search on Copyscape or somewhere else, and they will check your content. And if they find that it isn't unique and you have said it is, your reputation will be ruined and you're likely to be thrown out of the site flipping community. So make sure it is unique. Now, the other reason that unique is so good is that a lot of people are frightened of what we call the duplicate content penalty. And this is that the search engines will penalise you for having the same content as other websites. Now, to be perfectly honest, it's still a myth. Nobody's quite sure if it's true or not. doesn't appear to be entirely true, though there is more benefit to having unique content rather than someone else's. One thing you could do is use a mix of unique content and PLR, then make sure you point out when you're selling your site what the mix is and how many of each type of article there is so the buyer knows. Traffic also makes a good site to flip. If you've got traffic coming to it, it's going to be more valuable to people. So before you build a site, I mean, what I recommend when you create a site is that you keep it for at least a month. Keep it for a month to 3 months, build traffic, get traffic to it, and then of course when you sell it, it's going to have lots of visitors, it's going to be much more valuable. Earnings is the other thing. If it's got earnings, then of course it's going to be more valuable to a potential buyer. So you're going to find that people are going to be more interested in purchasing it if they can see that they're going to get a return on their investment. If it's a brand new site without any earnings, people are going to be a little bit more wary and not pay as much because they're not sure how much they're going to get back, and they're obviously going to have to do some work to generate traffic. If it's already got traffic and earnings, they can just say, yeah, I'll buy that, and just leave it, let it continue to earn for them, and sit back and buy more sites. Now, hot topics are always good. Now, there's going to be flash in the pan topics where there's suddenly lots of searches for a month or two, and then suddenly it all disappears and quietens down again. Now, those topics you're going to struggle to sell. I mean, yeah, you may be able to sell them if you're fortunate, but they're not going to sell as well. But hot topics are enduring, popular topics that are currently in the news, like the acacia berry, for example. Watch Oprah Winfrey, for example. Anything that appears on her website or on her show, I guarantee you the next day there'll be millions of searches for it. So anything like that, keep an eye out for hot topics. We'll talk about that in a little while. Now, the site has to be good looking as well, okay? Make it so it looks nice. Don't make a horrible looking site that frankly would scare people off. If it's good looking and attractive, people will feel comfortable about buying it because they know there's less work for them to do. Remember, most people that are buying sites want to do no work. They're buying a site because they don't want to do the work. They could create it themselves, but they don't want to. So make sure it's good looking. I would say invest in unique graphics, simply because you know you're going to get good quality, it's going to be unique, it's going to be good looking. If not, you can use some existing graphics or themes, but make sure they look professional. Now, if you're using WordPress, don't use the Revolution or the Church theme. I'll say that again. Revolution and Church themes, out of bounds. Don't touch them. The reason being is both of these themes were mentioned by some people who were big in the site flipping community as good themes to use because they're heavily customizable. Trouble is, everybody started using them. So suddenly the market was swamped with sites all based on those themes. So try to avoid those. There's plenty of other themes out there, or you can even create your own WordPress theme with a piece of software called Artisteer. So search for that and you can find it. A good site to flip has the potential to earn and for traffic. So it's something that there's going to be searches. Something like tortoise collecting, for example, may not be that much of a potential market, but something like weight loss for teenagers or car mechanics or cat care or something, probably a bigger market. So think about the size of the market as well. Now, if it's an enduring topic and the content's good, then it's going to be much better. Now, enduring topics are also evergreen topics. These are things like debt management, pregnancy, parenting, mortgages, foreclosures, job hunting, things like that, weight loss. They're things where there's always people looking for it and always new people getting into a situation where they need that information. So topics like that are always good because they have got the long-term potential. Now, what sort of selling prices? This is something you're probably really interested in. Now, typically, a website will sell for about 4 times the monthly earnings, if it has any earnings. If not, it'll sell for a different price, which we'll talk about below. Now, you may sit there and think, well, that's not very much, is it? The reason being is websites can go up and down the search engines at Google's whim, and suddenly you may find that your 1,000 visitors a day has dropped to 100 because you've gone down in the search engine for whatever reason. Now, if you were selling a bricks and mortar business, you'd obviously sell it for an awful lot more than this. But virtual real estate tends to sell for quite low, about 4 times monthly earnings, simply because of the volatility of the marketplace and of the ranking. So, as I said, a site that's doing well and getting hundreds of visitors a day could get none tomorrow. Now, unless it's a well-established site, now that's where it breaks this. A well-established site with a proven track record of traffic and earnings can often get 10 times or more its monthly earnings. Now, if you think about it, YouTube sold, was it last year or the year before, for several $billion. Hotmail was bought by Microsoft for an undisclosed sum that we can guarantee was in the tens of millions. So there's a lot of sites can be bought for a lot of money. So well-established sites with real good track records are going to earn top-notch dollars. But most sites that you're going to flip and sell are going to be for sort of 4 or 5 times the monthly earnings. Now, a bland blog with 10 articles, nothing special. You're talking under $100, 97, possibly even 67, depending on the content and the subject. So you're not going to get rich on that. But if you can knock out a blog with 10 articles in an hour, do 10 of those a day, that's $1,000 a day, which isn't to be sniffed at. Now, a good site with unique articles and traffic, you're probably looking at between $100 and $500, depending upon the traffic and the earnings. Now, obviously, it can go above this, but again, we're talking 10 to 20 articles, maybe a few more. So depends on how much traffic and earnings it has. Now, if it's a product site without traffic, you're talking $500 to $1,500. Now, this is a product site. It's a sales letter, a website, domain name, a book, some bonuses, etc., etc., all set up, basically ready for someone just to put in the payment button and off they go. So for that, you're talking $500 to $1,500. You can sometimes sneak up to 2,000, maybe even slightly higher if it's a really good hot product. Now, a product site with traffic and earnings, well, you're looking at least $1,500. I mean, if it's earning well, it could be substantially more than that for you. Now, a unique site with traffic, your Hotmails, your YouTubes, potentially it's unlimited. I mean, there's sites for sale and you'll see them being bought for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So think about that, But again, you've got to do quite a bit of work to get there. But hey, focus on one site in a real good niche with a unique idea, build it up big for 6 months or 9 months, sell it for several $100,000. That's not bad going. That's a good earnings for the year, really, isn't it? So what the buyer is looking for. Right, as someone who's buying a website, they're going to be looking for the earning potential. Not just short term, but long term. They're going to want to see, ideally, long term, several months worth of stats of earnings. If you haven't got that, fair enough, show what you've got. If it's no earnings, just state, no earnings, we haven't earned anything yet. But the earning potential is something they're going to be interested in. They're looking for long-term sustainability. Remember, these are people who are looking just to buy a business that's completely hands-off. They don't want to get involved, which is why they're buying your site. So they're after something that's going to provide them a return on investment, not just today, but next month, even next year. So they're looking for long-term addition to their portfolio. They're looking for unique and valuable content. The buyers will buy unique content and pay premium dollars for it. So add unique content. They're also looking for a good domain name. There's a lot of domain names out there. You just got to be a bit creative. It's no good buying a XYZ74D domain. What's that? You want a domain like howtoloseweight.com, howtostopsmoking, howtofixyourprinter.com, howtocutyourOwnhair.com, howtocleanyourcarpet.com. You want really good domain names, because quite often if you've got a good domain name, you can get top dollar just because the domain name's good. Right, you want to avoid the same old sites and themes and content that everyone else is doing. There is a herd in the site flipping community, and these are people that have all read the same book and say, we're going to follow this step by step, which is good. Follow instructions step by step. But the trouble is they're all using the same theme, doing the same thing. It's a blog with 10 articles. Woo! The marketplace is flooded with those. It really is. So you got to, be more unique. Don't put 10 articles, put 20 articles, 40 articles. Use a unique theme. Create it in Dreamweaver so it's a proper mini site or whatever it might be. Whatever you do, don't follow the herd. The buyer is looking for something unique. They're also looking for an easy and professional transaction. So this means if you get asked questions, you answer them sharpish. It means that if you make the sale, once it's sold, you do the transfer as soon as you got the payment, and you do it well. You do it professionally. You're good in all your communications, you're professional, your ad is professional, your website's professional, all of that. The easier that is for someone, the more likely they'll buy from you again. Now, if you're really smart, what you can do is when someone buys from you, add them or ask them to add themselves to a list, an autoresponder account where you can email them and send them future sites for sale. If they bought a site and they like it, chances are they're going to be interested in more in the future. And finally, they're looking for value for money. People don't want to pay several $100s for 10 articles of content on a domain name. Unless the domain name is something really special, it's not going to happen. They're looking for decent value for money, and particularly since the credit crunch hit and we have all these economic problems, website buyers are a lot more savvy, and they're really looking at the content and long-term value of a site rather than just buying to speculate. So if you provide value for money, and we'll talk about how you do this later on, the better it will be for you. So let's talk now about why you'd keep a site or why you'd sell it. Well, I would keep a site if it's got good long-term earning potential with minimum work. To give you an idea, I've got a number of AdSense sites. Some of these, they rank well, I've done a lot of work on them, and they earn a good income with no work. I mean, some of these sites I've not updated for 2 years, yet they still bring in, $4 or $5 a day. It may not sound a lot, but when you consider there's 30 or 40 sites like that, that's a substantial sum of money. So if it's a good long-term earning potential with minimum work, go for it, keep it. Because I could sell. I mean, for example, one of these websites that says it earns me $5 a day regularly. I mean, it's been doing that for 2 years. So 365 times 5. So what's that? It's earning me a couple of $1,000s a month, a year. That's not bad. But I could sell it, but to be honest, I'd probably only get a few hundred for it. That's the downside. People may not pay full potential, but it's much better for me to keep it and just keep letting it keep earning for me, because it's bringing me a passive income. So from these sites every single month I earn a decent sum of money. What I tend to do with website flipping is when I find a hot niche, I will typically create myself a site, I'll market that, I'll create one or maybe even more to flip in that niche. If it's a profitable niche, I'll create one, sell it, and then maybe create another one using different content. So, I mean, that's another choice that you can make. It's always worth keeping it if it's something you're passionate about as well. Now, I've got a site that gets several thousand visitors a day. It doesn't earn me a fortune, but it earns me some money. And I've had some fairly high offers for that site, but I've never sold it because it's something I'm really passionate about. I really love the content. I love the interaction with my customers and visitors. So I'm never going to sell that site, even though I could get sort of tens of thousands of dollars for it. But if it's something you're passionate about, a blog that's your hobby or whatever, then you don't need to sell it. If you want one to sell, create another one. If it's something you're passionate about, keep it. Another reason to keep a site is to build value while the site matures. Now, I tend to keep my sites, if I'm selling them, I try to keep them between sort of 1 and 3 months, sometimes even 6 months, depending upon my strategy for the site. But what I'll do is I'll be constantly marketing that site, building traffic, selling it, getting the traffic up so that we can earn from it. So that when I sell it, the earnings are maximums. In the meantime, of course, the site's earning, and what's that doing? That's giving me some good income. I may keep a site because I want to get it to rank higher, so that when it comes to selling it, it's got more traffic and it's worth more money. I may also keep a site because it may have more value later on, nearer to a specific season or event. So for example, in February I might start building Christmas sites, and then in sort of September time I'd start selling them. I'd start getting them ranked well, and then September people start thinking, right, Christmas is coming, let's start getting some sites together. I sell it then. You start the Super Bowl sites a few months beforehand, and about a month or two before you'd sell it. If there's a big presidential election coming up, you start a site on that before it all happens, and then sell it as it starts to happen. I could sell, for example, I could sell a Christmas site in February, for example, but I'm not going to earn a lot of money from it. If I want to maximise its earning potential, we're looking at selling it sort of September, October, maybe even November time. It's like camper vans, the VW camper vans, the hippie mobiles. I love those things, but you know what? If I try and buy one in the spring, it will cost me twice what it would cost me in the autumn. If I go in the autumn, when everyone's had the holiday season, I thought, I've got to get rid of this damn van now, I can pick it up for a pittance. But if I go in the summer, in the spring, where everyone's going, it's holiday time, we want a van to go away in, it's going to cost me a fortune. Same with your websites. If you sell them round about the right time for a season, you can maximise your earnings. So why would you sell a site? Well, firstly, you need the cash. You might sell the site because something's happened that you need the cash. Maybe your car's died, you've lost your job, maybe you need some new furniture, you've had an unexpected bill, or medical bills, or whatever it might be. But if you need some cash, then you can start selling some of your portfolio. And this is why it's called virtual real estate. Is you build it up, you send traffic to it, you start earning from it, and then if you need to, you can start divesting yourself, dumping your websites and earning from it. Same if I had real estate investments. If I had a dozen houses and I was renting them all out and they were earning me money, and suddenly I thought, right, I've got a real financial problem. Right, I'll just sell a house. I'd sell a house. I've lost a bit of monthly income, but I've got the cash injection I need to survive. The other reason is you may want to capitalise on the value of a website. So, I may sell it for 10 times the monthly earnings, but I could wait 10 months to realise that earnings and work for that 10 months on the site. Or I could say, you know what, I want out, I just want the earnings now. So you could walk away with the money now. And when you're selling the site, you've got to tell people why you're selling it. If you need the cash and there's a problem, tell them. And just say, you don't have to go into details and give them the sob story, but just say, I've had a unexpected financial emergency and require some cash, therefore I'm selling some of my websites. Or you could say, well, I build websites as a business, or whatever it might be. It could be a part of your online business. And if it is, when you're selling a site, just say, I create sites specifically to sell. People won't have a problem with that. If you don't say why you're selling it, everyone's going to go, why is he selling that site? Particularly if it's earning. I've seen people that are selling sites that are earning thousands of dollars a month, and the first question everyone asks is, why? Why are you selling a site that's earning you $2,500 a month? And that most of the time people will go, I don't want to run it anymore, I'm bored of it, or I just want to sell it, that's what I do for a living. Or they say, well, I want to capitalise on the value of the site and work on other projects. You've got to tell people why. So it may be that you got bored with it. Maybe you've been running a community or a forum or whatever it might be, and just thought, you know what, I've had enough, I want to change. I want to move into other business opportunities. Hey, maybe even other business opportunities have come up and you need some investment capital, and that's why you're selling a site. It may be that the site is too time consuming as well. If I've got a site that's taking me 4 or 5 hours a day to administer and run, do I really want to do that? No. I'd like to sell it so I can maximise the earnings and let someone else spend the 4 or 5 hours a day. So those are some of the reasons why you may want to sell a site. The final reason is you may want to focus your site portfolio. I might have a dozen sites in the weight loss niche, for example, and may say, well, half of these sites, well, they're not earning big bucks. Let's sell them off. I'll sell them off, someone else can have them, and I'll focus on my core sites that are earning me the money. I mean, big companies do this all the time. They sell off a load of their assets and focus on their core expertise. So that might be why you want to do it. But whatever the reason you want to sell the site, when you advertise it for sale, make sure you tell people why you're selling it. And that way they'll feel much more comfortable in making the purchase. I want to give you some ideas now of where you can find topics to create sites to flip from. Now obviously this is the foundation stone of site flipping. If you don't create it in a good topic, no one's going to want to buy it. So firstly, look out for the news, read newspapers, see what popular subjects are. With newspapers, look at the adverts in the back or the adverts that are in it and see what popular adverts there are. If there's something with a full page advert, guarantee it's popular. So go and have a look online and check it out. Read forums. If you're on social networking groups, go and look in social networking groups, but go to niche forums or general forums, places where any places where people get together to chat. Places like, if Cosmopolitan have a forum, go and have a look there, or Oprah Winfrey's forums, or sites like NetMums and places like that where there's lots of people gathering and chatting. Go and have a look at those places, see what's popular. Read magazines or niche magazines to see what's hot. Now, there's a lot of magazines out there. Go into your local store or bookshop that sells them. Have a look through them. You'll find loads and loads of ideas. Now, again, if you see something that's advertised a lot, chances are it's a popular subject. If you're looking through the weight loss magazines and there's one particular diet or something mentioned on the front of a lot of the magazines, you can pretty much guarantee that's a good subject. So look at those. Look at PLR products being sold via PLR membership sites and via other forums and niches. Have a look around. If someone's created a PLR product, chances are it's a niche where there's a demand, and if there's a PLR product bought on it, they may well be interested in other subjects. Now, of course, there's nothing stopping you taking that PLR product, rewriting it and creating a website based around it and selling that. That would work. Now, you could go to the sites we're going to talk about in a little while, the sites where you sell your domain, and go and look at what's sold. That's the easiest way, to be perfectly honest. Have a look, and if you see, well, there's 4 sites on the cassia berries there that have sold, I'll create one of those. Or 4 sites on turtle taming, whatever it might be. But if you see sites being sold repeatedly on there, then that might be something you could try and create a site on, because obviously it's a hot subject. Keep an eye out on trends like Google Trends, for example. Have a look at how things are going cyclically and decide what you're going to do from there. And if you're going to do seasonal events or seasonal websites, then plan in advance. Your sites for December, you need to be selling them sort of September, October time, which means you need to be creating them June, July and August time. So you have to plan in advance. You can't say, right, it's December, let's get going on Christmas sites now, because that's just not going to work. You've got to plan in advance. So where's some other places? Well, go to the Amazon bestsellers. Go to Amazon.com, left hand side, scroll down a little, look at the bestsellers. You will find more ideas in there than you could possibly ever imagine. Just spend some time going through it. It'll blow your brains. It really will. There is so much good stuff in there. eBay Pulse, that's another good place to find ideas for sites. There's a lot of good information held on the eBay Pulse. Tells you what the popular subjects are. You can get good information from there. Another great site, 43things.com. Go and have a look there. Loads and loads of information that I guarantee will completely and utterly blow your mind. You'll find lots of ideas. And if you drill down on the information there, you can find lots of ideas for other sites and other niches as well. So awful lot of information there. Magazines.com. If you can't be bothered going out to a shop to look at magazines, go to magazines.com. You can look at them all there. Give you a great idea of what's on the market. Trendwatching.com. This is another great site to go to. Sign up for their newsletter, because what they'll do is they'll send you a newsletter that once a month that will tell you what the 10 biggest trends for the next month are. Create some sites on those, and you know what? You can make a lot of money from them. There's some really, really good trends on those. So and they tend to be quite accurate because it's a real professional business site, that one. Any CPA network's a good idea as well. Go onto CPA networks, see what they're selling, see what's popular, see the new offers that are converting. Those are good ones to look at as well. Joint venture networks. There's quite a few of those out there as well, where people announce new products. Now obviously if they've created a product, particularly the big names, on a subject, it's obviously a hot subject. Could you create a site on it? Could you create a competing product and sell that? Because I bet you anything you like that as soon as people are selling their main product, there's going to be lots of people looking for another version of it or a cheaper version. So that's always a really, really good bet. And of course, you can often find ideas through keyword research. I mean, while I'm doing my keyword research, I'll often find some interesting ones and go, I wonder whether that'll make a good niche. So these are some of the places where you can get ideas for sites. It's pretty much like finding an idea for a product or whatever else you might do. It's just pretty much niche research, but you need to find something which is going to sell. And so, I mean, to be perfectly honest, one of the best sources is Amazon bestsellers. You'll get so many ideas from there that you can build a site on to sell. It will just completely and utterly blow you away. It really, really will. I mean, I could just walk through the first page of Amazon bestsellers and come out with, you know, a dozen different ideas, and I'm sure you could too. So go and have a look there, because those are the hot topics. Then pop into Google, type them in, see how many competing sites there are, how many people are searching for information, and, you know, you'll probably do all right from there. I'd like to show you Flippa, flippa.com. This is formerly the SitePoint websites for sales section that's moved to its own website. It's basically called flippa.com, and you can come here to buy and sell websites. You can see here on the front we have a number of products that are already for sale. You can see prices and ending. You can look at latest auctions, latest private sales, ending soon, and just sold. Now Flippa isn't just a place to come to find sell your site. It's also a place to come to find ideas. For example, if we click here on just sold, you can see here there's a number of different sites. Now this will give us some idea of what people are looking at buying. Weight loss, organic baby products, lottery information site, money making site, niche site, ClickBank ready product there. You got one here, a hosting review site, travel, dog supplies, and so on. And you give you an idea of the prices as well as to how much they are selling for. So an established drop shipping site here that obviously has an income. That's only 3,500. So let's have a look at this one, the hosting review website for sale. Okay, so here we can see that it's earning $1,500 a month, so it's solid income, which is good. Winning bid was for $6,000, and you can see here it's getting 13,000 uniques a month, 168,000 page views. So it's got good content. It's got a PageRank of 2, number of pages in Google and Yahoo, and you can see here if we go down more information. See traffic details. And there's screenshots of some of the proof. Here you can see that last month they earned $1,500. June they earned $1,700. So it's earning $1,500 plus each month. So if you bought this, it's only 4 months if you leave it, and you've made your money back. But you can see here there's pictures of the earnings. So this is all valuable information that you can give to help make the sale, because people can look at the stats and see that what you're saying is true. There you have some questions. People want to see the analytics, AdSense income, chargeback percentage. So there's people asking questions here to help them make the buying decision. You can expect these questions, and if you answer them, then you will get sales. Now he's answered them in private messages. Depending upon the question, it may be worth answering them here, so that people can actually see what they're saying. So you can see that, well, you know, you can see the answers, so people aren't going to keep asking the same question again and again. So this is a site that's successfully sold. So you can see there's a lot of potential here. But let's go and have a look through the sites that are actually for sale right now. So here we can see some of the sites that are currently selling. And again, we can look through these for ideas. You know, if we're looking at creating just a plain old blog, well, we can look at some of these and see how much people are selling them for. This one here, for example, this anti-aging health site, looks like something we would create. It's a premium custom unique design. So someone's gone to get unique graphics. So let's have a look at this one. So you can see what they've done is the bidding's open and currently below reserve. So there's no, you can see the buy now price is 197. The minimum bid's 177. So they're looking for around $200 for this. You can see there's no site statistics there. So it's obviously a new site. You can see where it's registered with GoDaddy. It's registered 5 days ago. So there you are. It's a customized, monetized, unique website, and it doesn't have unique content, but it does have unique design. So let's have a look and see what else it says. Here it tells a bit about it. It's got some. It's obviously based on WordPress because it's got the all-in-one SEO. It's got a few bits and pieces in there, 10 quality written articles. So there's a few bits and pieces in there, Amazon Store, AdSense. This is what you get. You get a free cPanel hosting for 6 months and then $7 a month thereafter. Free installation. And if this is something I've noticed people are doing a lot on these sites, is they're offering a bonus if people do buy it now. So buy it now and you get 24 additional articles. So that's quite good to do. But you can see here, this gives you some idea of what a good site looks like. I mean, this one I don't think is a very good advert, to be perfectly honest. I think looking at it, you look at it and you think, well, it doesn't really give a massive amount of information. So let's have a look, see if there's any questions at the bottom. There's no questions asked yet, and you can see it's a brand new site, so no revenue and no traffic. So whoever bought this would be expected to drive traffic to it in order to create earnings. So let's scroll to the top and just have a look at the site so you can see what the sort of sites people are selling are. Okay, here's the site. It's basically a WordPress blog. You can see what it looks like. It's very plain, to be honest. Good graphics there. There's a video there. If we scroll down, there's some featured articles, some adverts. AdSense isn't very well optimized. I would certainly move those around. Categories, products, more products, and some adverts at the back. So there's quite a bit there. It doesn't look too bad, to be perfectly honest. I don't know whether I'd pay that much for it myself. However, it's a very, very good looking site, very clean, and because it's a unique design, it will probably sell quite well. Now what we're doing is searching all of the sites here just to have a look through, because what I want to show you is a top end site. If you click on categories here, what you can do is you can change the categories, so you can look at just for domains, established sites, startup sites, and so on. Now where you are likely to start will be established and startup. In order for it to be an established site, it has to be a month old, it has to have traffic and some earnings. So established sites sell for more than startup sites. So what I've done is I've gone into premium sites here to show you, because I want you to see what these sites look like. So let's have a scroll down and have a look. We want to look at this one here, hotmailcentral.com. It's selling for $50,000 but doesn't have any bids on. Let's just scroll down and see if there's any with a bid on. There's this one here. It's a mirror script. It's got 2 bids on it. It's currently at 8,000. So let's have a look at that one. Okay, so we can see from this that they're earning about $2,500 a month. They get 149,000 uniques and 311,000 page views. It's got a lot of unique content on it. It's got Alexa rank of 21,000, which is quite good. And you can see here some good information. So this tells you all about it. It's selling a established mass mirror script. It's a year old. selling whatever this is, a Koi script. I've never heard of this myself. So now it's doing very, very well. So you see they've sold 100 licenses through various forums. So you can see it's doing quite well, but it's using, you've got to pay attention to things like this. It's using a lot of bandwidth, so that's going to cost you, a fair chunk of change at the end of the day. And you can see it's quite interesting. So this one may well do quite well. But again, you can see this is a well written one. He's covered all their questions, tells you very, very clearly what you're going to get, gives you details of the revenue here. So you can see the revenue model here, the advertising as well. So not only do they sell products, but they advertise as well. You see they use AdSense and so on. It tells you how much roughly you get for each one. It tells you the services that are there and the traffic details. So, and then we got proof down here of AdSense earnings. So this gives you and traffic and so on and so forth. So this gives you a good idea of a good listing. Basically, the more information that you provide, the better it's going to be. The less questions you're going to get, the more it's going to put people at ease. So let's go back now, and we've looked at a couple of listings. We've seen some good ones. We've seen some perhaps ones that aren't quite as good. There are an awful lot of different ways, but as I said, if you're clear in what you're posting, you're open, you're honest, don't try and hide anything, don't try and cover it up, because someone will find out and then you'll be in a bit of a mess. Always be honest is all I can say. And you can see they've all provided detailed information on what you're going to get, detailed information of statistics, or screenshots, proof of earnings, and so on and so forth. You may find that people ask for access to accounts like your Google Analytics account in order to see your statistics. If they do, just let them do it, because it's going to help make the sale. Here we have a number of startup sites. So these are all brand new sites. You can see a lot of people list them for 30 days. The advantage of a 30-day listing is people get a long time to look at it, to bid and so on. It depends on how quickly you want to generate cash. The longer you put it on there, the more chance of people looking at it, but the longer it's going to take you to get some money. The shorter the time, the less people are going to see it, and potentially the lower price you're going to get. It swings and roundabouts really, and it's up to you to decide how long you want to list it for. I tend to list mine for 14 days, sort of halfway house really. It suits me, it's very good, and I think works quite nicely for what I want it to do. So you can see here there's a lot of different sites. So let's have a look at World of Warcraft. It's currently at $50. Let's have a look at this one. World of Warcraft is of course a very, very hot niche. So we can see here he set a reserve price which hasn't been met yet. No revenue, no traffic, so it's a plain old site. Doesn't look that interesting. We'll have a look at it. He set the buy now to $277. Not sure about that myself. No unique content, yet no unique design. It's a self-writing blog which automates the income process. That sounds a bit suspect to me. Thesis WP theme, that's used an awful lot. Basically that. What I would check is fully licensed caffeinated content. Check with this, because he won't be allowed to sell you the license to caffeinated content, because it's something that you buy. It's a piece of software that you have to purchase, and it's a fair, I think it's about $100. So you need to check that he's allowed to transfer that license. Always be careful of things like that, because you may end up buying something and realizing that legally you are not licensed. That could cause problems. So basically this is a blog that's set up with caffeinated content, which to me sounds like it's not particularly very difficult to do. All it is literally, all caffeinated content does is pull information from article directories, video directories, and places like that. So let's have a look at his site here. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think this is going to be worth anything like. I mean, the graphics are pretty rubbish, you know, not being funny. That's not graphics that made me go, ah, wow. The domain name there isn't even right. Warcraft Guide Reviews. It's New Warcraft Guide Reviews, so that puts me off. And you go through, and you can see that's an advert search. Doesn't look particularly good. Another adverts, more adverts. Advert for a product. Doesn't appear to be anything here that's going to make me jump up and down with excitement. I do hate to disappoint him. You know, there's a huge thing here, big theme design by Colon Cleanse. That's a massive leak of page rank. I mean, look, that doesn't work now. I mean, this is a site that, you know, I'm not being funny. Someone's thrown this together. It's just plain rubbish. So, you know, it's not worth $5. The only possible value may be in the domain name, but I wouldn't even give that, to be honest. It's not that good. This, to be honest, is a good example of a site that, to be perfectly frank, you shouldn't even bother trying to sell. Whoever's done this has just wasted $20 trying to list their site for sale. So I wouldn't bother with this at all. I mean, look at it. Let's face it. There's no unique content. It's not particularly well laid out. The graphics aren't good. It doesn't work. You know, you're going to struggle to get this ranked well. You're going to struggle to get lots of traffic for it. The adverts aren't particularly good, and all he's done is basically set up a blog with caffeinated content, and has decided that he's going to try and sell it. Now, as I said, the problem with this is he's not authorised to sell the caffeinated content license. You buy a license from them, and you can't pass it on. So that's not good. So this is a big no. So this has just provided us with a very good example of what not to do when creating a site. As I said, look, doesn't work. So make sure your site looks a lot better than this, has some good unique content in, because it will sell a lot easier. I will almost guarantee that this is not going to sell at all. He'll be lucky if he even gets any bids on it looking at it. It really is a terrible looking site. So that's just my opinion, of course. But, you know, you've got to think about these things. It doesn't look very appealing to a buyer. I mean, there's very few, the monetization is very poor. There's no proof of income. It's a highly competitive niche, and to be honest, there's nothing in it that I think is unique and will get ranking. There's certainly no efforts to target long tail keywords at all, from what I can see. It's just pretty much pull in reviews and dump them on the site. So, oh well, but it's a good example of what not to do. So we're going to click here on sell now, and we're going to look at selling a site ourselves. Now you can see here it's very easy to do, and here's the pricing. Okay, it's going to cost you $20, $19. If you sell, you get charged 5%. It's a minimum of $5, maximum of $500. You can split this between yourself and the buyer. You can take the whole 5% success fee, or you can make the buyer pay it. It's up to you. Splitting it between you or taking it yourself often helps make the sale, because the buyer thinks, oh well, it's a bit of a bargain because I'm not paying it. But you factor it into the price anyway. So that's basic pricing. That's all you need to know. It's going to cost you $20. So we click on get started now. Okay, now here's the first step. You've got to go through a few steps. You put in the site details. You can sell just the domain. You can sell the URL. You put the date it's established. Is the content unique or not unique? Is the design unique or not unique? Very simple form to fill in at the moment. They want to know the average monthly revenue, where it comes from, how many uniques you get. So we've got to fill all this information in, and then we can move on to the next step. Okay, now on the next page, you can sell by private sale or auction. I typically sell by auction. It's possibly easier, though. If it's more valuable, you may want to sell by private sale. Listing details, you have to put a title, a subtitle, how long you want it running for, and then your description. Now remember, in your description you want to tell them about the site, you want to tell them why you are selling the site, and you can say, well, I'm looking to raise money for other investments, I've got financial problems. You could say that you just want to get rid of the domain, you haven't got time for it anymore. You may say that, well, actually I sell sites for livings and this is one of the sites I sell. So you got to make sure that the title and the subtitle grab people's attention. That might be all that they see, your only chance to reel them in and sell to them. So make sure that they tell people about what's in the product, what you're selling, and some information. You may put a title like unique stop smoking blog, something like that, with 10 articles, highly ranked, a well ranked earning stop smoking blog, or whatever it might be. So you do all that, and then we've got to go down a little bit further here, and we've got to fill in our revenue details. So give them details of what the site is earning, how much is it earning, where is this money coming from. Remember, the more information you can give, the better, and you can put screenshots in later on. So you may want to say, well, it's not earning at the moment, there's no traffic. If it's a brand new site, then put that in, or put minimal traffic. If it has some, then put it in there. If it's got lots, put it in there. But be precise. Remember that website we looked at? They told you, he told you that, well, I'm getting $50 from here, $100 from here, $200 from here, $1,000 from that, and so on and so forth. Break it down so that people know exactly what they're getting. It's going to make it much easier for you to make the sale. Our next page is the bidding options. Here we can see what the reserve price is, starting price, bid, and so on. So set a reserve price. The reserve price is the minimum that you're willing to accept. So let's say $125. Then put a starting bid, make it something to get people interested. So you may start with $1, you may start with something higher. It depends on what you're trying to achieve. You can also put a buy it now price in. Typically this is higher than the reserve price, so there's a bit of leeway for it. And then of course you can require the buyer to purchase through PayPal and put in the information there. Pick the payment methods you will take, whichever they are that you want. Now PayPal obviously is the one that I want to use. Decide where you want to do with the success fee. Do you want to split it between yourself and the buyer, or do you want to take it yourself, or do you want to get them to pay it? I'm going to say that I'm going to pay it here because that can boost the chances of making the sale. This is the recommended one, so let's leave it on that. Right, let's go on to the next screen now. Here's where they try to fleece you for a little bit more money. Now, unless you've got a more expensive site, to be perfectly honest, it's not worth using these. Okay, if you're going for a site that's worth $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, you may want to consider one of these options. But otherwise, for one of our new sites, I wouldn't even bother doing any of these. I mean, yeah, you can go for all of these, but they're going to add. You can see how it makes it look a bit different. I mean, that might be all you need with that row highlighted. I mean, it adds up onto the cost as well. You can also, if you want, hide from the search engines and non-logged in users, but that will reduce the amount of bids that you get on your auction. So I don't want any of these. As I said, I wouldn't put any of these on unless I'm going sort of over, $400 or $500. Then I'll start putting some of these on. And this one here I'd only put on for a high value site, because otherwise it's going to cost you quite a lot of money. So let's go on to the next step now. Okay, and now we've got as far as we can go without registering. So what we would have to do is register and sign in. And basically the step from here onwards is it shows you your listing, gets you to confirm it's all right, and then takes payment from you. So that's all you need to do to sell a site. Registering is free, doesn't cost a penny. It's a very, very simple form. But this is Flippa.com. I mean, it's a great site. There's a lot of information here. You can do your research here. We've seen some good and bad sites. We've gone through posting a sale. Remember, when you're posting a sale, give them loads of information. Don't give them irrelevant information, but give them information that answers the sort of questions they're likely to want to know. Where's the traffic coming from? How much traffic is there? What do they get? What the earnings? Where the earnings coming from? And so on and so forth. And remember, The more you answer, the more you are going to find you make a sale. The less questions people ask. A lot of people won't ask questions unless they're really interested. So the casual buyer may look and go, oh, I'm not sure about that, and go, oh well, I'll go on. But if you've got the answer there, then it could convert someone from a buyer, from a browser into a buyer. It's a very, very good site. Remember, look at the good and bad listings and make sure that whatever you post is good. Make sure the quality of your site is good. I mean, look at that Warcraft site we saw. That was a dreadful looking site. Half of it didn't work. There was no unique content and it was all pulled from other sites. So that one is going to be a real struggle. Not to mention the fact that I'm pretty sure that you're in breach of license of the caffeinated content requirements there. So make sure that if you're selling something and it's got software on it, that you are allowed to sell the software license. And if you're not, then you may have to say to the people, look, as well as this, you're going to have to go and buy this software license or already own one. So take that into consideration as well. But Flipper.com is one of the big marketplaces. It's well established, having come from the SitePoint marketplace, and is very, very popular and very good. You can get sites here for anything from $50 to $100 up to tens of thousands. I mean, I've seen websites on here sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So there's an awful lot of potential here. It's a good place to make some very good money. And if you work here, you build a reputation, you sell some sites, build a bit of trust up, you'll find it's easier. You may want to start with a few low-end sites or decent sites with low bids in order to get people's attention, make the sales so that you get your feedback and your trust rating higher, so it's easier for people to buy from you next time. But Flipper.com, Flippa.com, come along, have a look around, and this is one of the great places to sell your site. I'd like to show you the forums at digitalpoint.com. If you go to forums.digitalpoint.com, you'll see a page similar to this. Now, this is a good place to come and sell your site. It's different from Flipper. Since SitePoint hived off their site selling side into Flipper, a lot of people have come here to the Digital Point forums. The Digital Point forums don't charge you for listing your site for sale. The downside of Digital Point is that the market tends to be here full of, shall we say, more junk sites. There tend to be a few more scammers and the like because they don't charge for listings. You also tend to find that this is the lower end of the marketplace. So whereas you can make several hundred for a simple site, you may struggle to make that here. You may make only 100, maybe less. What you're looking for is, if we scroll down, it's buy, sell or trade and sites. So we need to click here. Now, as I said, it's unfortunate that this tends to be the slightly lower end of the market. If you're coming to buy a website, then this is a perfect place to come because you can get some really good ones fairly cheap. But what I would recommend is, before you sell anything here, is to make sure you've got all your statistics together and make sure you're ready to give them all sorts of information. So here's some of the sites. Again, you can use this as a link, as researching for ideas. There's plenty of ideas here for sites to make, and you can see sort of what sort of prices they sell for. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple of links. We're going to start with this one first of all. Now you can see here, this particular one, I don't consider this a very good advert. What's he given us? A site, the domain name where it's registered, it's 5 years old, it's got PageRank of 3, reckons it has about 4,500 unique visitors. He wants $300 for it, buy it now is $350. Well, how much is he earning from it? He hasn't given us any statistics, any proof, anything like that. And if we scroll down, there's a first question, any revenue details. So that's a bad post. You need to make sure that your site, when you make a post and you're selling something, that you have all the details. Lay it out so it's nice and clean. Tell them a bit about the site, why you're selling it, give them details of how old it is, how much revenue, where it's registered, how many visitors it has, and so on. So that one will count as a poor one, so you can see what it looks like. But I want to show you a few so you get an idea of the format of these. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. By the way, if you're posting here at Digital Point, look at what's at the start of each of these, WTS in square brackets. What that means is want to sell, and it just helps people easily scroll through and find want to sell, so people can look at what they want to buy. You'll also find here WTB. WTB means want to buy. So basically, if you're posting here, we'll talk about this later on, make sure you put WTS or WTB. If you're selling, it's got to be WTS. So I want to look at this one now. He's obviously got a decimal place wrong there, but let's have a look at this one because it's got some revenue details. Okay, we've got the website address. He's selling things through a product called Plimus. Again, I'd query these because he's used a full stop and not a comma. So is that 40,000? Is it 40? Is it 80,000? I don't know. But if you're spending $300 daily, I'd expect it to be closer to that. So that looks quite interesting. So there you are. There's some more statistics there. He doesn't have time for this website. So there you are. See, it's people are querying details here. So you know, expect this to happen. All right, this is going to happen. If you're not careful, and you don't put all the details in, or there's some sort of mistake, they're going to pull you up on it and catch it. So you can see there, it's just selling a guide. So yeah, okay. So there's a few bits and pieces there. So it's not clear. So you've got to make sure that whatever you're posting is actually very, very clear, because you can see here that people are not so happy with what he's posted. Now you can see from looking at a couple of the posts here that people tend to be a lot more slapdash in what they post here at Digital Point. Because they're not paying for it, they tend to just throw up anything. And as you can see from the couple we've looked at, the first one didn't really have much information on it at all, and the second one, there was a few holes in it and queries about whether he was actually earning what he said he was. So yeah, there's a few. You can see already that this isn't quite the high quality site that Flippa is. Now what I want to look at is I want to look at a couple of these want to buys. Okay, now want to buys are quite good, because if someone's saying want to buy like this one, what you can do is maybe create something specifically for their site. So here is somebody that wants to buy web design blogs with at least 6 months of content. So unless you've been doing one for 6 months, then this is probably not a good one. But you can see he tells you what he's after and how much money he's got for it. So if you want to get a site to that level of PR with 6 months of content and sell it, then that's what you could do. But again, remember, things here tend to be a bit cheaper. So let's look at another one of these very quickly. Here's another one who wants to buy. Now this is a good place people come to increase their virtual real estate. Someone wants to buy sites earning at least $1 a day and is asking for PMs on it. So again, if you've got your site and it's making $1 or so a day, you can contact this chap and say, look, I've got this site, I want this much for it. And you know, you never know, he might buy it. So that's some of the stuff that's here. You can see what makes a good post and a bad post. And really, literally, it's like posting on any forum to post your advert here. All you do is, if we go back, all you do is click here where it says new thread. So we'll click on that, and you've got to register first. Registering's free. So basically, all you need to do is just click on this and then make a post, just like a normal forum. You just post, you just type out your information and put it in there. As I said, make sure that you only advertise your site in one place. Don't advertise it here on the Warriors Forum and on Flippa. Just put it in one place, because what happens if it sells in all three? You've suddenly got a problem. So what you want to do is just put it in one place and one place only. But make sure you get all the information there. Attach some screenshots, maybe put links to screenshots on your domain, something like that, so that people can see what the traffic is, see what the stats are, and so on. And that way you're going to get less questions. It's going to convince people that you're a professional seller and that they're dealing with someone who knows what they're talking about, and so you're more likely to make money from it and sell your site much quicker, which is of course what you want. The quicker you can sell the site, the quicker you got money in your pocket. Now obviously you don't want it sat there for 30 days, nobody buying it. You need to make sure that it gets attention and it gets bought ASAP, because that way the money's in your pocket and you can move on to the next project. But this is the forums at digitalpoint.com. It's quite a good site, but as I said, it tends to be the cheaper end of the market. A lot less care goes into what's posted here. You tend to find a lot of the sites are less carefully created as well. Many of the sites here are duplicate content and so on and so forth. But if you sell a good quality site here, you could probably earn a decent amount of money from it very, very easily. This is the warriorforum.com. This is one of the most popular and best internet marketing forums on the internet, and there is an awful lot of information in here, and you could very easily completely lose weeks reading everything here. This is a forum where many of the big name marketers frequent. They post, they read, they buy, they look, and they listen. You can often hear from them here, and you can often watch them as they buy products and market some of their products here as special offers. Now what we're interested in particularly is complete websites for sale. This is a new section that they've only put in a couple of months ago, so it's still relatively new, but it's already very popular. So let's click on it and have a look. Okay, now here they will charge you $20 to make a post, which is fair enough. But before we go anywhere, we need to look at this sticky and understand how to use the site. The Warriors Forum is heavily moderated and they do not tolerate idiots. So if you're going to come in, spam, mess around, post something that isn't very good, isn't useful, doesn't adhere to their rules, then they're not going to be very happy with you and you'll waste your money. So what you do is again, it's like Digital Point in that you post your offer as a normal forum post. So you just click new topic on the previous page, and then what you do is post everything in there. Then what you do here is you click on this URL, enter your Warrior Forum username, which you'll have signed up for, and pay the $20. And then what you'll find is that they'll approve it. It may not be immediately, so be aware it's a real person. So it may take a few hours. Sometimes it takes 12 to 24 hours. It depends what the real people are up to. But you can see here they tell you can bump your offer back up. So when it falls off the bottom of page 2, you can bump your form back up by paying another $20. So there you are. So if you try and do this beforehand, they'll knock you off the forum. Okay, and it says here, once the site sells, please edit your title and put the word sold in front of it, which is fair enough. So because this is such a heavily moderated site, you need to know the rules. You need to pay attention to this and make sure you understand it. Because if you don't understand it, they will literally kick your posting off here and you'll have wasted your time. So you can see there's a couple of pages. There's not that many at the moment, but there's still some good posts here. It's a good place to get in front of some very big named people. So you can see, let's have a look at this one here that's sold. Okay, so we can see here what the site's all about. You can see he's telling you all about it, and what he's thrown in here that's rather attractive is he's going to personally coach you over the telephone till you've had your first $1,000 a month, or you've added an additional $1,000 to your existing internet. So that makes it a very, very attractive proposition. So there you are, Sonic the Hedgehog. He's done Sonic the Hedgehog site, so it's called sonicburrow.com. You see here, it's monetized by AdSense, an affiliate program here, eBay auctions, and Amazon as well. So plus he's added a chat room, some images, some auto-updating YouTube videos, and a forum community. So that's what you get. It's based on WordPress, and he'll transfer it, set it up and install it on your server. So that's not too bad, is it? I mean, that's a really good deal, and he's offering it to you for less than $300. I mean, that's not bad at all. And you can see here he posted it at 4:28 on the 8th of the 11th, and it sold the next day. So it sold within sort of, what's that, 12, 24 hours. Didn't take long for him to sell, well, just over under 12 hours. Didn't take him long to sell it. Why did it sell quickly? Because it's an incredible proposition. You know, it's a good site, good niche, lots on the site, good money. So well worth doing. So you can see there's many more sites here. If we find another one that's sold, this anti-aging one for example, let's have a look at this one. So here you are, here's another one. There's a testimonial there, which is good, that helps build credibility. Here's some information about the site, and this is an important phrase to add. I will only sell one of these sites. That adds value. If you're going to sell a site again and again, then it's going to be much lower value than if you just sell it once. If you sell it once and it's unique, then it's going to be much higher value. So you can see there a screenshot of the site. Looks quite nice actually. Looks quite nice, very clear. The ads, you can see the monetization. You've got adverts there. You've got an Amazon widget there, and so on. You can see what you get is you get nice domain. That is a nice domain name actually. You get a customized theme. You get unique content. You get 10 unique articles. You get these plugins. This is how it's monetized, and there you are. So there you are. There's some more testimonials at the bottom, which is always good. Okay, so there you are. This is quite good. This person, whoever Pixel is, has obviously spent some time thinking about it, because there's a good 11 reasons for buying a prepackaged site. So that's very, very good. So there you are. So there's someone there complaining about it all. So let's have a look. So there you are. See, it says this is quite useful. There's somebody here justifying the price. They're saying, well, look, a keyword-rich domain name plus that is worth at least $50, plus the articles where you're up to $110. So you can see that there's a lot there about it. There's some useful information here. Some of this, like this, is stuff you could use perhaps in your own pages. So we've looked at a few sites here. There's plenty more. If you just come along and have a look through it, again, you can look at niche research. You can see what's selling, and you can see why it's selling, and that's important. But you can also have a look and see the kind of format of postings. Now what you want to do is you want to duplicate some of these. You want to write good posts and sell it here. Now if your site is good, it's got unique content, then you'll find that you will sell it here and you'll do quite well with it, simply because it is unique and people are after that. And as I said to you, you can see here one of the first questions people ask on almost all of these sites is, does it have any traffic and revenue? And that's why this program is all about creating traffic and revenue and then selling the site, because by doing so you're going to get more value, you're giving more value, and so you're going to get paid more for your site. And I think that's very, very important. You know, would you rather get $100 or $300? You know, as I said, you create a site, you leave it sitting there, you drive traffic to it, you automate as much of the traffic driving as you can, and you will find that you get, you know, it slowly and surely goes up the search engines, and as it does so, you'll find that you get more and more traffic. So it's absolutely fantastic. There's some really, really good domain names here, and if you follow through what you've been taught in this course, you'll be listing yours here very, very soon and making money from it. But remember, you know, you've got two choices. You can go for the quick buck, turn the site round, create it in the morning, sell it in the afternoon, or you can keep it for 3 months, 1 to 3 months, and try and increase the value. And if it's a particularly good site, you might want to keep it a bit longer to further increase the value. So that's a number of the sites here. It's called the warriorforum.com. So come along and have a look. Look through the completed websites for sale here. There's plenty of them. And, you know, you'll find that there's some good stuff here. And you can list yours here as well. It only costs you $20, so that's not bad. And it will get a lot of attention. Because this forum is still fairly new, it's not completely saturated with posts yet. If you go into the Warrior Special Offer forum, you know, the posts in there are so frequent that, you know, things disappear very, very quickly. But because it's here, it's very easy for people to see. It's not got the churn and the quick turnaround that the special offer site has. So anything you put on here is going to get some attention, and because it's new, there's a lot of people coming in here and looking at it because of that fact. So you can find that you probably sell it here. But what I'd recommend is try it on one, see if it sells. If it doesn't, move on the other. You know, try it on Flipper first or here first. If it doesn't sell, switch, do it on the other. But bear in mind, the more times you have to list it and pay for a listing, the more it's going to cost you, which means the less profit you're going to make. In an ideal world, you list it and you sell it the first time. And to do that, you have to follow what we've been saying in these videos about how to list it. Look at the ones that are working. We've obviously talked about some of those. Make sure you post as much information as possible. And if you do all that, then you've got much more chance of selling your site the first time and not having to continually relist it, which is going to cost you money. So this is the warriorsforum.com. It's a very good place to come and sell your website. As long as it's unique, it's original, you're going to do well here. I want to spend a few minutes showing you eBay. Now, I'm not showing you eBay because I think it's a great place to sell websites. I'm showing you eBay because it's a place where people do sell websites, and you will hear people talk about it. Now, eBay, unfortunately, is one of those places where most of the websites that are sold here aren't particularly good. They tend to be sites that people have bought from PLR memberships, like AdSense sites that they've thrown up here. You can see a few here, $4, $3, $1.50. You can see there's a lot of websites there that pretty much are pointless. If you were creating a website specifically to sell it, at eBay you'd get a pittance for what it's really worth. The people at eBay basically have no idea what they're doing when it comes to buying a website. They've no idea about earnings. They've no idea about anything like that. Or, you know, they literally just see a website, oh, I'll buy it. And people just sell rubbish here, basically. Most of the websites here are rubbish. I'm going to show you a few listings just so you can see for yourself just how bad they are. But I would not recommend that you sell a website here if you want to get more than a few dollars for it. There is the occasional sale that goes for a lot of money here if it's a reliable, good business. But to be perfectly honest, people here at eBay don't value websites and the value of them. So what we want to do is we want to click on categories, and then here, businesses and websites for sale. And then we need to click here, internet businesses and websites. You can see there's quite a lot, 4,500 listings there. So here are some of the websites for sale. You can see there's an eBay affiliate site there going for $20. There's an awful lot of noise. There's all these, you know, buy your useless traffic here for a pittance here. Spiritual prayer, religion website. If I have a look at one of these, you'll see what I mean. You can see there's no bids on any of these. I'm willing to bet that most of these won't sell. So let's just click on this one for a moment. So here you are. You can see the website. You can see here that they've had to state that they've got rights to sell the websites. There's been problems with people selling websites they don't own. So eBay can come down on you like a ton of bricks and shut you down. So you can see there's a website there. It looks lovely. A little bit about the site there. It sells a large collection of spiritual prayer and Christian books for $20. There's some good feedback there. There's details about what it is. So I think the way these make money is they don't make money on the website, but they make money on the hosting. So here you are. You can see that they charge you $10. I'm assuming that's per month for the hosting. So what you find is that they're selling you the website cheap, and then they get you on the hosting. So there you are. You can see that's what you get there. Yeah, so you can look through this and see what there is. So you can see again, this isn't a particularly brilliant auction, to be perfectly honest. It's obviously a brand new website. There's nothing about traffic or earnings there, which are questions that you and I would ask, wouldn't they? We would want to know, well, does it have any traffic? Has it got any earnings? You can look at this as well. You look at this site. It's not monetized if this is a picture of it. All it has is the advert for the book and how to order. There's not really a lot of information on here. So to me, I would say this is a very poor site to buy. So let's go back and see if we can find another one. Here's another one that is selling the dream, if you like, of internet marketing. You can see it's 99 Canadian dollars, about 89 US cents. And it's a book called Staying Motivated. Now, if we scroll down, you can see here what you get. You get the book in PDF format. So you only got resale rights at best. So you get a sales letter, which, to be honest, doesn't look very good. You get a thank you page. So again, absolutely rubbish. And here's the bit that really winds you up. Look at this. Make 3 sales a day and you'll earn $40,000 a year. Trouble is, if the book's rubbish and the sales letter's rubbish, then there's no point. You know, you're not going to make any money from it. But look here, you know, just hosting from me. They're making the money from the hosting. So they charge you $10 and then $6 a month. So, you know, they sell the book for pittance and gouge you on the hosting. So you can see the sites on eBay aren't really selling decent businesses. What they are is they're a make money scheme for the person selling it by screwing the buyer for hosting that, frankly, for $6 a month, yeah, well, $6 a month is terrible, but for what, $9 a month, I can get a HostGator account with unlimited accounts on it and unlimited bandwidth and space. So, you know, that's a terrible deal. But the people who buy here don't realise. I want you to realise that eBay just isn't a good place to come and sell a website. So, you know, I want to find one more site now to show you, and then we're going to leave eBay alone. It's a place to come if you want to try this scam of selling hosting and cheap websites. But to be honest, you're much better off selling full price websites somewhere else. You make more money. I wanted to show you this one very quickly. It's someone trying to sell a domain name. It's obviously an American footballer. He wants $15,000 for it. You know, it's basically someone trying to scam Dan, who's obviously might want his domain name. But you can see here they're trying to sell it. There's basically pretty much nothing there. So you can see again. I think a lot of the thing that eBay is people try to sell stuff because they figure, well, I'll give it a go. Somebody might buy it. I've got nothing to lose apart from a few dollars. And to be honest, particularly in this section, most of it seems like sort of scammers and people with, you know, pie in the sky dreams of $15,000 for domain name, which, to be perfectly honest, he's not going to get. I would be very surprised if this sells. Right, this is the last site I'm going to show you on eBay. This is a, I believe it's a dating site. $8,000 he wants for this site. Basically, there's nothing on there. It offers a membership. It gives you some information about here. It's obviously a niche market, as in people who are into bikes, though I think dirt bikes and motorcycles are quite a breed apart from my experience of the people that ride them and use them. So you can see here, there's the website. It's based on this script. But there's nothing here. It says basically it's got great financial potential. So basically what he's done is he's got a domain name. He's set up a script on it. And then he's looking to get $8,000 for that. You know, you can see that, again, there's 5 hours left and no bids. A lot of these places are not going to sell, quite simply because, you know, who's going to pay $8,000 for a site like that? You know, you'd pay $8,000 if there was a market, if there was earnings, if there was traffic. Then you go, yeah, right, I can do that. But you can see there's a lot of sites here on eBay that really aren't worth anything. So it's just people basically trying to take advantage of people who really don't know what they're doing. Now, you could give it a punt on eBay and see if you could sell your websites here, but to be perfectly honest, I would be surprised if you sold a website for any real valuable amount. I think most people realise that this section here is just full of junk. So I suspect very, very little sales here. If you want to get decent money for your website, you're much better off taking your website to Flipper or the Warriors Forum or even Digital Point or somewhere like that and selling it there. You're going to earn a decent amount of money if you do that, which obviously is going to be so much better for you. So anyway, I just had to show you eBay so that you understood what it was like, so that you realise this wasn't a place to come and sell your website. Let's talk a little now about how you create a site. I'm not going to go into the mechanics of actually creating a site. I'm going to assume that you have that level of knowledge already and can do that. But what I am going to do is show you how you can create the site for maximum profit. So I'm not going to go into how you code it, how you post your articles, how you install WordPress or anything like that. I'm assuming that you have that level of knowledge. If you don't, then I'd recommend you check out a program such as WordPress Demystified, which will show you how to do that. So firstly, the first step in creating a site is to pick a keyword-rich domain name. So you need to get a domain name that has your major keyword in. Now chances are your major keyword domain name is going to be gone in the .com form. You may be fortunate and find it in the .info. You may want to look at .net as well. I mean, that does okay, but don't look for anything other than those unless you're targeting a specific country, in which case go for the country one. But typically you're going to have to go for your main keyword. Your main keyword should be at the beginning of the domain, and then you want something on the end like tips, secrets, blueprint, plan, project, or whatever it might be. Something that basically enhances it, gives them a bit more information. But as long as you've got the main keyword there, that's what's going to count. Now ideally, when you register it, create a new domain registrar account. Why would you want to do that? Well, very simple. That way when you sell this domain and the whole site, all you need to do is say to the buyer, here's the ID and password for where the domain name's registered, do what you want with it. And there's no worries about trying to push it over, them creating an account on your domain registrar and transferring it and all that sort of thing. Because you can't transfer a name, I think, for the first 3 months after it's been bought. So doing this is a degree of professionalism. It makes it very, very easy for the new person to take over. When creating the site, you've got to design for the ease of transferring and editing by the new buyer. Don't make things complex. If you're putting code in or anything like that, make sure you comment it so people know what's what. It's got to be easy. Remember, this person literally wants to edit one file and then that's it. So what you could do is use includes where possible for affiliate links, AdSense IDs and so on. And this way it's going to minimize the places where the buyer has to edit the website, and so reduce the time that they've got to spend getting it right. I mean, hey, you could even say to them, give me your IDs, I'll put them in the file, if you really, really want. But remember, the person's buying your website because they want to do no work. That's the premise behind them buying it. That's the whole purpose of being. So what you need to do is make it easy. So use these includes, and that will make it easier. Make sure you perform all the on-page SEO. Very, very important. Make sure you put the title tags in. Make sure your meta tags are there, your keywords, your description, your H1 tags. Make sure your keywords are on page. Make sure there's not too many off-site links and so on. All of the on-page SEO is very important. And then, of course, create keywords based on pages based on your keywords. So if you're creating a WordPress blog, what you would do is you would create categories for each of your top 10 keywords, for example, and then make a post into each of those categories called that keyword. If you're creating a normal website, you just create a HTML or a PHP page that is just called that keyword. That will help you with your search engine optimization. When you're creating your site, you have to create new content. You have to either write or outsource new unique content. Now outsourcing's good, but it reduces your profit. If I'm paying $50, say, for 10 articles, and I sell the site for $100. It's cost me $10 for a domain name. That's left me $40 profit. It's not bad, but it's not good. However, if I outsourced all that writing and it cost me $50, it may mean that in a day, instead of me only being able to produce 2 sites that would earn me, let's say, $200 at $100 each, I could create 5 sites that earn me $40, or 10 sites, say, that earn me $40, which is significantly more. So it may be that it's easier to outsource it because you can create more sites. But initially, if you haven't got the cash to do that, you can do it all yourself. Nothing wrong with that. You've got to make sure all your content's 100% unique. If necessary, run it through Copyscape.com to prove it. Copyscape.com checks for unique content and is pretty much the industry de facto standard. If it's past Copyscape, then 99.99% of people will be happy with your content. You can use PLR and other content, but don't do it exclusively. I mean, yeah, you can do it exclusively, but it's going to lower the value of your website. Having unique content in there as the majority will increase the value. So as I said, I mean, I would tend to do 10 to 20 unique articles, 5 to 15 PLR and other content. And that way, there's lots of content on the site. I tend to post twice a day initially for the first couple of weeks, maybe after that down to once a day. And the lovely thing with WordPress is that if you do use WordPress, you can throw all your articles in one day, and then it will schedule the delivery over the next few weeks. You've got to make sure that the design is clean and easy to read. Don't make it complex in any way, shape or form. Now the site's got to be attractive and eye-catching. This means the graphics, the colours, the font, the language, the spelling, the grammar, the layout. Don't be frightened to use white space. A lot of people, when they create a site, go, gotta cram all the information in. Think about it. If you go to your posh clothes shop, how much space is there between the rails? You could drive a bus between the rails. You go to your cheap and cheerful clothes shop, you can't even fit between the rails. They're packed in. White space, bizarrely enough, human beings associate with quality. Have some nice white space around and people will think, oh, that's nice, that's good quality. Get professional graphics done if necessary, or use professionally created templates that aren't widely available. Sure, some graphics are going to cost you money, but if you go to the Warriors Forum, thewarriorforum.com, and look in the Warrior Special Offers Forum, you can find somebody there that will do your entire mini site for under $50. So that could be a good place to go. Or if you just want a header, then you can find one there as well for $10, $20 if that. So get your professional graphics done. Yes, they're going to cost you some money, but it will increase your sales price. If necessary and where necessary, use graphics and video. Don't go flinging them in there just for the hell of it. If it's got a purpose, put it in there. Make sure all the content is keyword rich, but not too keyword rich. Go for keyword density of around 3%, 1 to 3% maximum. Don't go over that. If you go over that, it starts then to a bit of a grey, fuzzy area where you may end up being thought of as a spammer by the search engines. So you want your content to have your keywords in, and make sure it's targeted to your niche. I get articles sent to me that people say, would you post this on your website please? I had one article sent to me yesterday by someone who wanted it posting. It was for Quit Smoking. I thought, oh, it looks like quite a good article, so I thought I'd just have a quick read through before I post it on one of my blogs for this chap. And I read it through. I thought, that's a good article. I quite like that. And then I got sort of 3/4 of the way through, and suddenly there was a paragraph that was completely peculiar with 2 links in that was about real estate investing. It's like, that's not quite right. So it just got deleted. So you got to make sure your content is relevant to your niche and what your niche wants. And of course, if you know your keywords, it's going to be focused around your keywords. Now, one word of advice: you may be tempted to use some of the black hat techniques. There are a lot of techniques out there that are a little bit dodgy, may not be above board. Try to avoid those, as they could potentially damage the sale and reduce the profitability of the website. So that's just a small word of advice. It's just to avoid the black hat techniques with sites you're going to sell, simply because if you get found out, a lot of people are really funny about them, and it could potentially break a deal or reduce the price. So these are some of my advice and tips on how to create a site. As I said to you, I'm not going to tell you the mechanics of it. I'm assuming that you have that level of information. To do that will take far more time than we have here together. So these are some tips for when you're creating your site to maximize your revenue and your profits. Follow these and your site will sell really, really easily. I'd like to show you now the Google keyword tool. Keyword research is a very important part of selling your website. You need to attract traffic very quickly to your site, and ideally traffic that's targeted and is going to earn you money. Now, the way you do this is you get yourself ranked in the search engines very quickly. Now, we've talked about setting up your website. You have to create unique keyword rich content, but what keywords do you use? Well, what you're looking for is long tail keywords. These are normally 3 or 4 or sometimes 5 and 6 words long that describe your niche. And what they are is they're very much more focused than other keywords. So, for example, a normal keyword would be weight loss. A long tail keyword would be natural weight loss program. So what you need to be able to do is target those long tail keywords. Why do you target them? Well, very simple. They tend to be low competition, which means it's easy for you to rank high in the search engines for them. It also tends to mean that you can get traffic very quickly, and that's the key. The quicker I can get traffic to my website and the quicker I can get it earning, the better it's going to be for me, because obviously I can then sell my website and make some decent money from it. So these keywords will typically have, only a few thousand competitors, which means that you can very easily leapfrog to the top with a bit of article marketing and search engine optimization. And of course, that means you're getting traffic. So what we're going to do is we're going to search for a keyword here. We're going to search for stop snoring. And then we're going to just enter this here and then click search. Now, you can filter your results. You can take out certain words. You can take out, say, free if you don't want to find free people. You can get adult results and so on if you want to. But we're just going to go for the real vanilla keyword research. So stop snoring, and then we click here and get keyword ideas. Okay, here's our results. What we're interested in is here, the advertiser competition. This is how many advertisers there are. The fuller the green bar, the more advertisers. The more it's to the left hand side, the less advertisers. And we're interested in this column here, the global monthly search volume. This is how many people search for it. We leave it on broad match because most people, let's be honest, if you're searching for something on Google, how often do you put it in quotes or square brackets to get an exact or phrase match? Not very often. Most people don't realise they're there. So we're only interested in this global monthly search volume. So what we're going to do is we're just going to scroll down and we're going to have a look. We're going to look out for some of these that are low down with high search volumes. So most of those look like they're fairly competitive at the moment. Now, I've spotted 2 here. Firstly, here, there's 2 that I think are suitable. Stop snoring home here and stop snoring mouth. You can see stop snoring home, there's just under 50% competition, 1,000 searches a month. Stop snoring mouth, a little bit more than 50%, but 1,600. So what we want to do now is we need to take these 2 keywords and go and search in Google for them. So I'm going to open the Google window and let's have a look there. So what I'm going to do first is search for stop snoring home like that. So let's see what comes up if I do that. Now there's not too many results. There's 1.3 million effectively, but I can see there's quite a few AdWords ads, which is good. That means that there's potentially a lot of money in this niche. You can see here in top 10 there's a link roll. This is sort of basic article. There's another article here. If we scroll down, eZine articles is there, and then there seems to be a couple of sales pages. So what has this told me? Well, it's told me instantly that it's a niche where I could probably rank in the top 10 pretty easily. Let's be honest, there are articles in there, and eZine articles, most people don't do any SEO on them. So all I'd have to do is create an eZine article and then drive traffic to it, do a bit of link building, and it'll be in the top 10 pretty quickly. So, you know, I can get myself ranked fairly high fairly quickly. So what we want to do next is we just want to do a search in quotes. What we've done by typing it in without quotes is we've searched for the competition that generally people are going to see. By putting it in quotes, what we're going to see is what the exact competition is. How many sites are we actually up against that use this keyword? So let's search for that now. Okay, we can see it's even less, 5,500 results, so that is really good. So all we'll do is we'll pick some of these keywords like stop snoring home, remedy for example, and remedies, and we'll use those as our keywords to target stop snoring home. And again, you can see number 1, 2, 3, 4 is an eZine articles. Blogcatalog.com is number 3. That looks like some sort of sales page. More article type things, looks like a sales page, more articles. And there's still some sponsored links, AdSense ads. So I would say that this is one of the keywords that we want to target. Very, very good keyword. So what I would personally do is I would just write down on a piece of paper the keyword, the number of exact matches, and the number of broad matches as well, just so that I know. I'd also take a note of some of these sites and maybe go and have a look at them to see what they've got on them, so I know exactly what I'm competing with. So now what we do is we do this again for the next one, stop snoring mouth. Let's see what that comes up with. So that's come up with 2,300. So that's 235,000. Sorry, that's not a lot. But again, let's have a look. There's an Amazon product there. Again, sales page type thing. There's some reviews here as well. So again, this looks like one that potentially I could rank very well for. So let's have a look at our exact competition and see what it is. So we've only actually got 5,000 people we're competing with directly. And again, look, there's an Amazon product. Again, a few more sales pages and articles and the like here. So this is telling me I could very, very easily compete for this keyword. So that's another one that I'd write down. So we'll just go through this and we'll find those keywords. Here's another one, stop snoring free. Anything over about 500 searches is good. So stop snoring free I would do the same for. Let's scroll down and see what else there is. So you can see there's plenty more keywords here. How to stop snoring at, that's possibly another one to target. Stop you snoring, that's another one. Look at that, there's no advertiser competition, almost 600 searches a month. So I want to show you one more thing here before we finish this video. At the bottom here, Google comes up with some suggestions for you. What these are other keywords that you may be interested in using. These are keywords that are similar to the one you've typed in. So what I do is I would start picking some of these, snoring remedy, snoring mouthpiece, snoring products. I would take these, feed them into Google right at the top, and go through and pick keywords out of there. What I'm looking for is somewhere between 10 and 20 keywords really, and these are going to form the basis of my articles, my blog categories, my website page names, my titles of my articles. They're going to be the focus of my entire SEO and link building options, and very, very quickly you'll be ranking well. Remember, if I'm targeting stop snoring mouthpiece, stop snoring at home, stop snoring home remedies, etc., etc., what I'm doing is I'm not only targeting the long tail keywords, but I'm targeting the shorter bits as well. So I'm also targeting things like stop snoring. So it means while I'm ranking for those other keywords, I'm also building myself up in the search engines for the keyword stop snoring as well. So that will bring me even more traffic. But using these long tail keywords, you could be in the top 10 in Google in, let me think, less than a week. You know, sometimes even 2 or 3 days. It depends how quickly it takes for articles to be accepted, how much work you do and so on. But you can be ranking high very quickly and start enjoying traffic. And the quicker you get that traffic, the better it's going to look when it comes to selling the site, which means more money in your pocket. So that is keyword research and why it's so important. If you're serious about making money as a site flipper, do not skip this step. This is one of the most important steps. You do your niche research, then you do your keyword research, and then you have the foundation for building a site that will be supremely profitable for you. So that's what you do. Remember, make sure you do your keyword research. There are other tools you can buy that will do keyword research for you, but you don't need them. You can just use the AdWords Google tool. It's absolutely fantastic. It's very quick, very easy, and you've seen here how powerful it is. So have a look at all this, do your keyword research, and then start creating your articles and optimizing your website for those keywords. If you want to increase the value of your website, then you have to get traffic to it. The more traffic it has, the more valuable it is. And I don't mean pay-per-click traffic, I mean organic search engine traffic. So one of the things I want to teach you in this video is some generic techniques you can use to build traffic. Now, I'm not going to go into in-depth detail and show you exactly how to do each and every step. As I said, I'm assuming you have some degree of knowledge and that you can either work it out or you'll be able to do it yourself. So, how do you get traffic? You want the organic search engine traffic because that's free. Now, pay-per-click traffic is great, but you're paying for it and you've got to monitor your campaigns and make sure they're profitable and yada, 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 yada. So what you want is the organic traffic. That is what is valuable to people. Any fool can send pay-per-click traffic, whether they make money or not, well, that's a different matter. But anyone can send pay-per-click traffic. Ranking high in the organic search engine results for keywords is the real key to earning from your website. Now, your site must be built around your keywords. You must do your keyword research and you must build everything from the domain name to the articles to the content, the categories, whatever it might be, all as your keywords. The more your keywords are there in various forms, the better it is for you. You've got to focus on the keywords and ideally focus on every single page as one set of one keyword. Literally, each page is just one keyword. That's all it's about. Now, I'd recommend going to somewhere like onlywire.com and using social bookmarking. That's a very, very good place, a good thing to do. Social bookmarking is very, very powerful. Onlywire.com submits to, I don't know, I think it's about 30 or so different social bookmarking sites. It's very good. It's free to use. All you got to do is create a blog somewhere, blog a blog or something like that, and put one of their banners on it, and then it's free to use. But it's a very good way. And you do that. What you do is you social bookmark each page within your site. Don't do them all at once, but you do it, one a day or one or two a day. Do it too many too frequently, it's going to raise red flags and you may get your account deleted. However, every other day, just bookmark it every day, something like that. Article marketing, now obviously you'll have heard of that. Write articles and distribute them. Put them onto eZine articles. Put them onto wherever it might be, Put it onto, if you've got article distribution software, use that. Go into Google, type in article directory, top 10 results, go and submit your article to them. Simple as that. Get your article out there. Make sure the resource box is linking back to your website. Now, obviously, I'm not going to sit and tell you how to write articles. That's not what this course is about. But write your articles, get them out there, getting backlinks to your site. Ideally, use semi-automated or automated services because that's going to get you more, free up your time, and they'll work continuously for you. Now, Yahoo Answers. This is one of my favorite sources of traffic. Go to Yahoo Answers, sign up for an account and start answering questions. Don't put your link in the actual answer, put your link in the resources. Make sure your answer is really good, and so it gets voted as best answer. It'll get listed in Google. You'll start getting traffic from that. It's an excellent way of getting some decent traffic, but you've got to be careful not to spam. My technique is 1 in every 3 answers is not on my website. It's just anything I've answered, so that it doesn't look like I'm just literally answering questions on one subject and posting a link. So it just makes my account look a little bit more genuine. So again, as long as you don't abuse the system, it's going to work fine, and you get some good traffic from that, because a lot of people, Yahoo Answers actually rank very well, and if you can get listed as best answer, then someone's typing in your keyword into Google, they're going to see your website. Commenting on blogs, that's a good way of getting traffic as well, particularly if you're commenting on high traffic blogs. Now, to do this, you've got to add value. You've got to post something that's good, interesting, entertaining, informative, controversial, whatever it might be. But you need to post the comments there. Go and do a search for some blogs, go and comment on them, and you'll get traffic from it. You'll get traffic direct from people reading your comment and clicking on your name, which is your link, or you'll get traffic from where it's ranking in the search engines. And of course, any of the usual traffic building techniques you can use. Now, I'd also recommend creating some Web 2.0 properties based around the keywords. So get onto Squidoo, Blogger, Blogspot, Hub Pages, Weebly, whatever it might be. Create a new account and create Web 2.0 properties. If you create them in a new account, you can transfer them to the buyer. What a good idea that is. So that means that when you're selling the site, not only are they getting your website, but they're getting, all these Squidoo lenses and blogs as well. So they get even more value. And this is what I mean about adding value to the proposition. With that, it starts to sound, well, it's a no-brainer. I'm getting all this. I'm getting all these Squidoo lenses and everything else. So that works really, really well. Get on and do some directory submissions again. I wouldn't bother doing this manually unless you've got a lot of time in your hand. Go to Digital Point Forums. You'll find somebody on there that will do you 1,000 submissions for $20. It all helps. I mean, there are tools out there you could buy. If you're going to do a lot of this, it's worth buying the tools, because then you're not paying out the money each time for it to be done. You just buy the tools, set it off, you go off and do something else. Your focus with the traffic building is on ranking for keywords. You need to be able to rank for the keywords that you're targeting. Ideally, you want to be on the page 1 of Google. Now, a lot of the keywords that you're going to target are going to be long tail keywords. So this means that they don't get a massive amount of traffic. They'll get some, but not enough that it's going to, make you millions. So focus on getting yourself ranked for lots and lots of these keywords. But as you start to get ranked, you'll find yourself being ranked and indexed, and people will find your site for all sorts of wonderful keywords. But focus on ranking for your main keywords first. And remember this, a #1 listing in Google for your keyword, even if it's a long tail with a million competition, can really increase the value of your proposition significantly. So if you want to spend some time getting yourself to high in Google, then it's going to increase the value of your website. But as I said, it's up to you whether you choose to do the quick flip, where you literally create a site to sell it the next day, or whether you hold on to it to 1 to 3 months or even longer and build traffic and earnings. Whichever you do, both are right, and it's up to you. It depends upon your requirement for money and your needs and your strategy, really. So it's up to you which you do. But get yourself ranked well, because then you're going to get some good traffic and it's going to increase the value. Building traffic to your website is going to increase its resale value. The more visitors there are and the more unique visitors there are, the better it's going to be and the more that you're going to earn. Follow through and do what we've talked about in this video, and your traffic will increase significantly and you'll do very well from it. So that's what you've got to consider. Get building traffic, build traffic to your website, and it will increase the value when you come to sell it. Before we draw this program to a close, I want to give you some tips so that you can maximize your revenue from every single site that you sell. This video is all about how to increase your earnings and make sure that the sites you list are going to sell. Now, firstly, make sure that all content is 100% unique. I mean, if you really want to make sure it's going to sell, run it all through Copyscape and put the proof on the sales page. You'll find that people will be more keen if they see that. People want unique content. Content is king. It's something we're told all the time in internet marketing. So therefore, if you can provide unique content, you're going to find more people who want to buy your product. Now, what you need to do is make it outstanding, make it look good, and again, remember, unique content. If you really want to maximize your earnings, either create yourself or have someone create professional custom graphics. This will boost the value of the site to people because it's not using a template, it's unique, and it doesn't look like anything else. So that's a very, very good idea. Now, depending on where you go, a mini site design will cost you anything from sort of $50 to about $80 or $90. You can usually get a banner or a headline graphic done for $20, $30, maybe even $40, depending on who you go to. But the custom graphics are worthwhile because they can increase your earnings. If you turn around and say this is unique content with unique graphics, then your earnings are going to increase. If you really want to maximize the earnings, drive traffic to the site. Get genuine visitors, organic search engine visitors. Use all the Web 2.0 properties, all the SEO techniques that you know, and get people to the site. The more people you get, the higher your level of visitors, the more you're going to earn. Get it ranking for keywords and get it indexed. So you will have done your keyword research. You will know which keywords you are targeting, and you will rank for them. And you'll rank on the top 10, ideally. If you're really good, you'll be ranking in the top 3. Get your site ranked and indexed, and that's going to increase earnings because potentially people are going to find it, click on links, click on adverts, buy products, and so on. But getting it ranking means that your potential buyer has a little less to do because the product is already in the search engines. A little tip that you can do to help maximize your earnings, increase the value, is install some help desk software. If you go to Fantastico within your hosting account in cPanel, you can add help desk software from there. There's many different types of software. Just produce a quick video showing your buyer how to configure it for their email address or configure it for their email address yourself, and there you are. You've added a little bit of value for some free software. You can also create an autoresponder series, 7 to 10 parts. You can sort of rewrite PLR articles or create some unique content for this. But again, that's going to add content because if it's selling a product or it's building a list, then you create an autoresponder series, it's more value to your potential buyer. Create a number of Web 2.0 properties like Squidoo lenses, hub pages, blogger blogs, and all those pointing to the site that you want to sell. Make sure you create all of these on unique accounts so that you can hand them all over as part of the deal. So you can say, not only are you getting this website with 100% unique content, but you're getting 10 Squidoo lenses, 5 hub pages, 3 blogger blogs, all with unique content. That sort of level of commitment is going to seriously boost the price when people see that they're not just getting the site, but they're getting all these ancillary Web 2.0 properties as well. Look for additional streams of income such as Amazon, ClickBank, Commission Junction, and so on. What other streams of income other than AdSense can you put on a site? You can have AdSense, but maybe you can include a couple of banners that advertise other products, a couple of widgets from Amazon. These are additional streams of income, different ways of monetizing the website that will help make it more attractive to your buyer because they're not going to be looking and thinking, well, it's only AdSense. They can see that there's multiple streams of income. Now, make it easy for them to be able to change the website so that they can put their affiliate links in. You don't want them to have to go through every single page and edit it in order to put their ClickBank ID in. So make it easy. Now, to make it easy for you to flip the site, when you register a new domain for it, create a new account with a domain register. And that means that basically when you sell the domain, instead of all the hassle about pushing and pulling and transferring domain names between people, you just hand them the ID and password for the domain registration account and say, there you are. It's all yours. Do what you like with it. And that just makes the whole process very easy. I mean, I've transferred a few domains. Some of them have gone relatively easily, but others have been difficult. Now, if a domain is within sort of the first 60 days of its life, then you will struggle to transfer it between domain registrars. You can only keep it on the same domain registrar. So for that reason, a lot of people may say, oh, it's on GoDaddy. I haven't got a GoDaddy account. I don't want it. So by saying to them, I've created a brand new domain registrar account, you will receive the ID and password upon completion, and then you can transfer the domain out at your leisure. That adds value. One thing you could do is offer 3 months free hosting. So you can say, you can have this domain for 3 months on my domain while you move it. And then if you want to stick with me, I'll charge you, I don't know, $5 a month, or $3 to $5 a month, something like that. You don't have to charge a lot, but you charge something. And what you find is, you may think, well, $5 a month, that's not very much. But if you suddenly find you've got 100 people doing that, that's $500 a month, isn't it? For doing pretty much nothing. Now, when you are setting up your account for hosting domains, I would strongly recommend you go for a reseller's account, and there's a good reason for this. If you go for the standard sort of domain accounts, web hosting accounts, what you find is you can easily host one domain, but then you have to start messing around with subdirectories and all sorts in order to create other domains. The trouble is if you try and sell a domain that's set up like that, it means that people end up with access to places they shouldn't have, and you've got security problems and issues, and it becomes complex. With a reseller's account, every single domain you set up is, for all intents and purposes, on completely separate web hosting. They have their own bandwidth, they have their own disk space, and they have a limited number of SQL databases and so on. If they're on your shared account, then what happens is if they suddenly install something and it eats up all the bandwidth, you've lost your bandwidth, charging them $5 a month. So with a reseller's account, you can see when they're going over their bandwidth or their disk quota, and then you can contact them and say, hi, look, you're getting close to your quota. If you'd like to increase it, it's going to be this much extra per month. And in majority of cases, they'll go, yeah, okay, and pay it. But you can pick one of these up for $25 a month, and that's one that lasts you for a long time. And as I said, every single account within there becomes a separate entity, so you can hand them the ID and password for it and say, it's all yours. Knock yourself out, kid. Now, the thing I would recommend with site flipping is you'll notice there's certain, shall we call them, trends in the marketplace where things become fashionable to do, like using the church WordPress theme. And what you find is something will suddenly catch people's attention. They go, oh yeah, we've got to do this. And there's a stampede of people rushing to join in and do the same thing. Don't follow the herd. Don't rush after them trying to do the same thing. Forge your own path. Stand out from the crowd, because if you do that, you'll get much more attention. People don't want to see yet another church WordPress site. They want to see something unique. So make sure whatever you do is unique and different. By all means, there's some trends that you will want to follow, but don't blindly stampede after the herd. Think about what you're doing and create what you're creating because it has a purpose and will make money. At all times through the process of flipping your site, think value for your buyer. That's your number one concern. You want to add value at every possible opportunity, so that they get a package that they're just blown away by and it's a no-brainer for them to buy. And remember, when flipping a site, your buyer is looking for long-term sustainable earnings. They don't want something that's going to give them a month's worth of earnings, and then fizzle out. They're looking for something that's going to earn for 6 months, a year, maybe even longer, to be perfectly honest. So think about that. You want to make sure that what you're providing through multiple streams of income, good articles, unique content, good SEO is going to provide them with some sustainable earnings over the long term. And if they see the potential for long-term sustainable earnings, or even the proof that you've had earnings over a number of months, what you will find is it'll be much easier for you to create this site and sell it. Instead of it sitting around and getting the odd $1 or $5 bid, you'll suddenly find that bang, you're getting loads and loads of content. So have a look at that. That's what you need to do. These are some tips that are going to help you to maximize your revenue and make sure that when you list a site, you get the maximum possible return on investment. So what I want you to do is think about these as you are creating your website. Site flipping can earn you a little bit of an extra income, or it could create a full-time income. And if you do it well and you're lucky, it could well create you enough to retire on even. Site flipping will earn you as much money as you want to. It depends upon the time that you are willing to put into it, and the effort and the quality. This whole program has been about creating quality sites to sell that will earn you top dollar, rather than trying to quickly create a site and hoping to get $50 to $100 for it. If you're going to succeed as a site flipper, you need to stay away from the herd. Don't traipse around after them blindly doing what they're doing. Think for yourself. Think what you need to do. Think what will succeed. Think what your buyer wants. Focus on your buyer and delivering value and long-term earnings and traffic to them, and you will succeed. Make sure that all of your sites are unique. Don't throw up cookie cutter sites and try and pass them off as your own. Create unique sites with unique content, and if you can afford it or do it yourself, create unique graphics as well. All of that will pay off and allow you to maximize your earnings. What you'll find is that you learn a lot more from quality rather than focusing on quantity. I could turn out 2 or 3 sites a day very quickly. But trouble is, I might get $50 to $100 for them. Now you may be thinking, well, that's not too bad, $150 to $300. But trouble is, if I spent a couple of days doing a site, I could probably sell that to $500, maybe more. If I create a site and then sit on it and do a little bit of work on it every day, I could sell that for hundreds of dollars in a month, or 3 months, or 6 months. So by going for quality, you're going to find that you earn a lot more money. You will also find that with your quality sites, they will sell easier and quicker than your quantity sites. A quality site will flip pretty much every time, whereas a site that's a rough build, you'll be lucky to sell 1 in 3 or even 1 in 5. So you're paying out for all the listing fees and not making any sales. Whenever you create a listing on any of these sites, always be accurate and truthful and honest. Always tell them the right information. Don't lie. Don't sort of stretch the truth, is one way of putting it. Just be accurate. The more accurate you are, the more chance you have of making sales. Remember, a lot of time people will buy from the same people again and again. So if you do something and you tell a few stretched truths about your website, you may find that it ruins a reputation that you have or were trying to build, and you struggle to sell sites. Now, if you're wondering, well, what can I tell people? Why am I selling site? You can just say that one of your streams of income is building sites to flip. People will go, okay, that's fair enough. They don't mind. It's just quite often people want to understand why you're selling a site. If you've got a site that's earning $10,000 a month, why would you sell it? A lot of people will sell it for a variety of reasons, but you got to tell them why you want to sell it. Now, before we finish, we're just going to do a step-by-step action plan. So firstly, you have to find a topic to create a site on. So this means look at the Amazon bestsellers, look at the sites that are selling on at the moment, listen to the news, come up with an idea, a topic that you know is hot, one that will sell. Find your keywords. Get some nice long tail keywords that are low competition, high search volumes that you can use to create content on and to market so you get to the top of the search engines and start getting traffic ASAP. Remember, the quicker you get traffic, the more chance you have of selling your site and earning some good money from it. You then develop a site based around these keywords. I mean, you can use WordPress. WordPress is very, very popular for this, using unique content. You will then write maybe 10, 20 articles, depends on what you want to do. 10's a good number. Add some PLR articles as well, but make sure they're well written for the keywords, and you can of course use the keywords for your SEO. So you perform all the on-page SEO, your title tags, your header tags, your meta tags, etc, etc. Make sure they're all done. And then you'd build incoming links. Again, knowing your keywords, you can write articles and distribute them out across the internet based around those keywords in order to maximize incoming link love. The higher you are ranking, the more traffic you're getting, the more you can sell your site for. And finally, list your site and sell it and enjoy the profits. That's a step-by-step action plan on implementing exactly what you've learned in this course. Now, how much you earn from site flipping is up to you. You now have all the tools that you need in order to make a lot of money as a site flipper. Whether you choose to do this for a full-time income or a bit of extra income, that's up to you. But whichever you choose, you can do it. And there's one thing that you need to do in order to create that income, and that is to take action. Follow this step-by-step action plan. Find a topic, find the keywords, create a site, do your SEO, build links, sell it. Follow this step-by-step plan and you will succeed. You will win. You will make money. How much depends on how much work you do. The ball is now in your court. You have the tools. You have the knowledge. Now take action, create sites and sell them. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find a site that a big corporation will snap up for millions of dollars and be able to retire. It does happen, and it does happen regularly. But start building sites, start selling them, and start enjoying the extra income you can get as a profitable site flipper.